Okay, I got another idea in terms of video, making a video, when I rewatched the interview with Kenichi Wao, when I actually uh, made my Resident Evil 1 retrospective sort of review, to tell if it's still worth playing. But yeah, there was a question he got asked that got me thinking about this topic. He got asked if he would have done anything differently in terms of characters and their development, Resident Evil characters. And he did say he would have made them older, which is actually something I think they should have done, because they're a bit too young. Like Wesker and Barry, like in Resident Evil 1, are 38, while Chris and Jill are 22 for Jill and 25 for Chris. So they're very young, especially when it comes to Chris and his qualifications, like him being in the Air Force, and Jill having also trained for a few weeks, I think, months or weeks in Delta Force. Yeah, it's kind of a stretch. But yeah, it got me thinking how Capcom really mismanaged the characters in the franchise, because yeah, they made them like grow older, but other than that, they really didn't do much. This is something I have always thought, by the way. I never liked post Resident Evil 3 how they managed the universe and mostly the characters within. And now pretty much all the main characters are approaching 40 plus years of age, even 50 in some case, like Chris. And there's no generational replacement except for Rose Winters, but she's not a character that can carry a franchise like this alone. They did have the chance to fix this in the past, but they never seem to care. Because they always had a hard-on for maintaining the status quo for some reason. But at some point you have to make a change. You have to take a certain direction. Otherwise, you'll stay in limbo forever. Yeah, this is a life lesson, by the way, too. Don't stay in limbo too long. But yeah. Also because, I mean, a situation like this makes their universe and characters less believable and relatable. In a sense, it doesn't just spell doom for it, but it does both. Like I said, it makes it less believable. I'm personally of the opinion that, I mean, I want to preface something. This is not a Resident Evil channel. I am making a few Resident Evil videos, yes, because I like the franchise still overall, even though I liked it more before. And this is not a shipping fan base video, like saying the characters should be together, blah blah. No, this is just me giving out my thoughts on the topic. So just to be clear, I'm not a shipping retard. So just as a way to I'm making this video as a way to offer solutions, to give out my thoughts on what Capcom should have done, in my opinion, to avoid the situation they are in now. But I was saying, in my opinion, at least Jill and Chris should have gotten together after Resident Evil 5. That was their last chance to finally make them realize their feelings for each other. Because, like I said before, I think it's very clear how Jill and Chris always liked each other. If you look at their interactions throughout the series, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil Revelations. I don't know. It's to me, it's clear there was always something there, but they were too afraid to explore it. But since in Resident Evil 5, Chris thought Jill was dead, and he felt responsible. When he actually found out she was still alive, that should have been the wake-up call for him to say, "Oh fuck, I thought I had lost her, but now she's here again." So yeah, but no, nothing ever came of it. After Resident Evil 5, that was it. Also because they were still relatively young in Resident Evil 5. I think Jill was 32 and Chris 38 or something like that. But yeah. And also another in the post Resident Evil 5, I just thought it was weird how Jill was not in Resident Evil 6 at all. And her getting with Chris and maybe having a child would have been a decent explanation for why she wasn't around. But no, there was something else going on. But yeah, I mean, you will also expect her to be there, considering what Chris went through in Resident Evil 6. You will expect Jill to be there and support him, because even if they are not together, she's still the closest thing he has to a friend, to a close friend. Or Barry, at least. Even Resident Evil 1, Barry says they go back a long way.
I'm going with her. Chris and I go back a long way.
So, I mean, considering what Chris is going through in Resident Evil 6, I don't know. You will think someone will be there other than Pierce to cheer him up, to talk to him, to stop his destructive behavior. But no, that's character mismanagement, in my opinion. They should have done something. And I mean, if you go by the letter Barry receives, I mean, the file that is a letter sent by Jill to Barry, and you can read it in Revelations too. It says that after Resident Evil 5, she was stuck taking tests in a lab to see what was going on with her body, considering all the experiments Wesker performed on her. And Resident Evil 5 took place in 2009. So she went to take these tests in 2009. Resident Evil 6 takes place in late 2012 and spans 6 months, I think. So it ends sometimes in 2013. So you will want me to believe that Jill was stuck in a lab for 3 years. That's just not believable. Like I said, that's character mismanagement. Then there's Leon and Ada. They have a Batman Catwoman dynamic, but they are now both almost 50, I think. They're definitely in their 40s for sure. And nothing has changed between them. Claire as well seems unable to find anyone either, but she seems to struggle in her choice of partners, at least by going what she said in Revelations 2. She seems pretty desperate in that sense. I also think it's funny because only characters that are not relevant anymore seemed to have had children, such as Birkin, Wesker, and Barry Burton, for example. But how do you fix this? How do you fix the situation they're in? Capcom, I mean. Eventually they'll have to do something, unless they want to have 60 years old characters in their movies and games. An easy way would be to introduce new characters to assist the old ones, which they kind of tried in Resident Evil 6 and Revelations, which came out in the same year. But then nothing came of it. If you think at, Pierce died. Then the characters in Resident Evil Revelations, I don't remember their names, but the pretty girl Jessica, I think, that she had a crush on Chris, and Parker Luciani, which is the Barry lookalike. And also Helena Harper, I think, which was Leon's partner in Resident Evil 6. These characters are all gone. All new characters, but either dead or gone. Sherry as well is nowhere to be seen at this point. Even though she's starting to get on the older side too. She should be 37, 38 right now in the current year. All things considered, it's just odd how we got to this point. Like, they never thought this would be an issue going forward. Back when Resident Evil 3 came out, you had all those epilogues that will lead you, like when you finish Resident Evil 3, each time you unlock a new epilogue, for those who don't know. And each epilogue is about a different character in the universe. That was something really cool they did, in my opinion, with that one. It's the last time the Resident Evil narrative was, in terms of universe, interconnected universe, was really, really strong. And these epilogues will lead you to believe how there were plans for all these characters to get the spotlight. And I mean, in a sense, they did, because a few of them actually did star in the next game, like Chris and Claire, for example, or Leon and Ada in Resident Evil 4. But yeah, after Resident Evil 3 and slightly before Resident Evil 4 came out, there was like a big shake-up in Capcom and in Resident Evil as well. Because like I said in my other video, Sujimura died, Mikami left Capcom, Kamiya left Capcom as well. And also the supposed replacement for Kenichi Wao, which funnily enough was hired by Mikami, because Mikami was also responsible for pushing Iwao away. But he also hired this guy, which was supposed to be, as I said, his replacement, Kenichi Wao's replacement. His name was Yasuhisa Kawamura, and he did the writing for Resident Evil 3 mostly. That was his biggest project, finished project at Capcom. And yeah, and then he went on to work on Resident Evil 4 as well. The castle and then the fog build. And I think he was the one responsible. From what I've read, he was the one mostly that pushed to have hallucinations in Resident Evil 4. But the problem was that the GameCube couldn't handle Silent Hill style hallucinations, I think. It is said. So he pretty much had to give up on that project, and yeah, he resigned from the project. You know, it also later on left Capcom. So there was no one else really to bring the narrative forward properly. And that's when the shift happened, in my opinion. That's when Resident Evil 4 came out, and then most people had left or died, like in the case of Sujimura. And Capcom didn't know how to bring the series forward. Again, Like it was in the same situation as Resident Evil 1, between Resident Evil 1 and 2. But and then like if you look at Resident Evil 5, in fact, there are some things that really don't add up, in my opinion. Like Wesker makes a complete shift between Resident Evil 4 and 5, which is just weird. In Resident Evil 4, he's all cool and collected. He has a sophisticated plan to resurrect Umbrella as well, among the other things. But then in Resident Evil 5, he goes... after meeting with Spencer, he goes full retard. Full edgelord, I don't know. It always came off as weird to me. And there definitely were a change of plans, because the shift in narrative was very evident. But yeah, like I was saying, at this point, what do you do? If you're Capcom, what do you do? Another way to fix the problem will be to reboot everything, but I don't think that will go well with the fans. At least right now. Because they are already remaking the games. So what they're gonna do, they're remaking games and then they're rebooting everything. So they'll remake the games all over again. Just with a different narrative, maybe, I don't know. Like I said, they could introduce new ones, new characters. Like they did with Ethan, but they kill him off too. It seems like every character they introduce, they either forget about it or kill them off for some reason. So there's no... aside from the main cast, like Chris, Jill, Claire, Leon, and Rebecca as well, because she was in the last movie. I mean, Ada as well. Ada, I don't think she's been seen in a while. After Resident Evil 6. She was supposed to be in Resident Evil 8 originally, but the plan was scrapped. So I don't think she has been seen since Resident Evil 6. Officially. But yeah, it seems like Capcom cannot manage properly their characters. And I don't know. This is a problem that will need to be fixed sooner or later, because characters are getting old. And it would have been cool to have characters like, for example, what's his name? In Resident Evil 0, Billy, to come back. I mean, you could say Billy is another soldier boy like Chris, but I think he's a bit different than Chris. Billy is the type of character who is kind of a bad boy, in the sense that he still has a good heart, but life has served him a shitty end, so he has become pretty jaded and cynical. I don't know if you ever watched Saint Seiya, Knights of the Zodiac, but he's a very similar type of character to Phoenix Ikki, in that sense. And yeah, it would have been cool to see him back, for example. Like, he could have cut maybe, I don't know, a deal with the government like Leon did, and they would have put him in a special squad to deal with this kind of issues. But no, he's gone too. We don't know where he is, if he's still alive. Barry as well. They had to like put him in a spin-off game after years since his last like presence in a game. But then nothing more. Also because the plot, the cliffhanger in Resident Evil Revelations 2 is still hasn't been resolved. And it's been 10 years at this point. I don't know what the fuck Capcom is doing. But yeah, it's very odd. Seems like they only care about remakes nowadays. Now, when I'm saying the characters should have gotten together, I'm not saying like that was the only solution. But there would have been one possibility for them to evolve, because the characters have pretty much remained the same for the most part throughout the series. Chris is still the soldier boy. Jill is Jill, the master of unlocking. Leon is the pretty boy. Ada is the seductive spy. Rebecca is the, I don't know, is the nerd, the scientist. Claire is the country girl, I don't know. But yeah, it's just the characters haven't evolved in almost 30 plus years at this point. And like I was saying before, it makes the universe feel less believable, because I mean, it's okay for everybody, not for everybody to get married or have children, but all of the main cast is not in a relationship, nor do they have children, so it feels weird. Like I said, I think at least Chris and Jill should have ended up together. But I don't know. But yeah, what do you think about this issue? Like, what do you think they should do to fix it? I've given out my thoughts, my possible solutions, but I wanna hear yours as well. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.